Arsenal nil, Liverpool 2. And the smile on my face is not really because of the fact that Arsenal lost. I'm an Arsenal supporter, but it's because I saw something in the team today that made me feel as though the losses that Arsenal have been going through and the rut that they have gone through at the moment is not really because the team is not good enough, but it's because there are some tweaks that if Mikel Arteta is able to do, Arsenal will have a silver lining at the end of this very dark tunnel. But anyway, guys, thank you for your support so far. We have been able to cross 100 subscribers. Thank you so much. To anybody that's new and considering, please hit that subscribe and that like button because it will help YouTube and everybody else know that you are going to potentially enjoy this video. Anyways, one thing that we didn't enjoy was Arsenal's 0-2 loss to Liverpool today. Explicable by the fact that when Arsenal came out, they were very tenacious. They went after Liverpool, and they did a lot of things very good in the first half. They managed to rattle the crossbar, and they also created a plethora of chances. Unfortunately, Liverpool did come out on top, and they eventually proved themselves in the second half to be more clinical than Arsenal are. Now, when I started off talking about the rut that Arsenal have been through, this is something that's very symptomatic of Mikel Arteta's teams. It's something that they go through pretty much almost once or twice every season. And they just happen to be on a winless run right now and a 3-game losing streak. I can recall some certain periods, especially in his first season in charge, when he went about 8 or 9 games without a victory, and they had lost, I think, about 5 or 6 home games in a run. So this is not something that's new to Arsenal or Arsenal fans or anybody who probably looks at analytics and data. Arsenal are a team that is very emotional, and whenever they play, they tend to drop off in games when they have too many chances and they don't convert them. So this game was almost a mixture of the last 2 games put into one. The first half had Arsenal pressing Liverpool very well. They were going hammer and tongs, and they were very, very good for maybe a 2 or 3-0 lead when it got to halftime. But the second half was pretty much what we saw from them in the Fulham game, where they just seemed toothless, and they seemed as though they had lost some confidence from not being able to convert those chances from the first half and being level going into the break against Liverpool. And then they just seemed to drop off. And then another thing that we saw that was symptomatic of their performances in the last 2 fixtures was their inability to defend against set pieces. Trent Alexander-Arnold showed us why he is very good going forward, but he also showed us how terrible he is as far as his defensive nous goes. But in a game that was very tight, it just seemed as though it needed that one goal to open it up. And eventually the other team, whether it was going to be Arsenal at some point or Liverpool, was going to have to push forward and try to take advantage of the fact that they were losing the game. And it just so happened to be Arsenal, and Luis Diaz was able to rocket a ball into the top corner right past Ramsdale. So it is a game that is kind of hard to look at and in isolation say that Arsenal are not a good team, because we saw them do a lot of good things in the first half. But then again, in the second half, we saw the team that started to lose confidence and the team that was starting to make sloppy mistakes. And then you saw the negative side of Arsenal. If a lot of people are going to talk about the fact that Arsenal need a striker. And yes, they do need a striker. But one of the things that they don't do very well is that they just seem to play a lot of tippy-tappy football, and they seem to not want to shoot. For whatever reason, when they get into good positions, they always want to take that extra touch, which makes the decision-making a lot harder, and it tends to push them into a place where they have to make a very difficult shot. So on the face of it, was it a bad performance from Arsenal? No. On the face of it, was it a good performance by Liverpool? Maybe so in the second half. And the fact that Jurgen Klopp was able to rest a couple of players, I think Van Dijk had a cold or something of this sort, and so he didn't travel with the team. But Liverpool probably come out of this feeling a lot better. They go to a strong opponent and win again at the Emirates, much similar in fashion to how they had won, I think it was about 2 years ago, a 2-0 away victory. And this also propels them and makes them believe that when they come back to the Emirates in a couple of weeks' time, well, actually not a couple of weeks' time, when they come back to the Emirates in about a month's time, they will be able to take advantage of Arsenal. Now, it's probably not going to be the same Arsenal that they faced today, because I do believe that Arsenal will eventually win a couple of games. They have Crystal Palace next in the league, and After that, they might gain some confidence, and you never know what a month is going to do. It's probably going to be a different Arsenal team. If it ends up being the same Arsenal team, then Arsenal have a lot more to be worried about. The only thing that I do want to touch on, and which is probably why you clicked on this video, is because Arsenal's front line is missing, and they are finding it extremely hard to convert the chances. Now, you look at other teams with the type of wingers that they have. Liverpool have goal-scoring wingers, not least of all Mo Salah. And then you look at Manchester City, their wingers are also very good at scoring goals. And you look at Tottenham, Heung-min Son and Kulusevski also chip in with goals. There's something that is very worrying about Arsenal right now, and it is the fact that their wingers are not really contributing so much. They seem to be creating chances, and of course, when you say that they have created over 60 open play chances in the last 3 games with only converting one of those opportunities, then you start wondering where exactly is the problem. And I think that if Mikel Arteta is going to work on something with his team, is that he's going to have to work on their decision making, because it always seems as though whenever Saka has a chance to score, he tries to do something extra off the ball. And then Martinelli seems to have his head down when he runs a lot. And it doesn't seem as though whenever he's making the next move, it's very well calculated. So it's very easy for Arsenal's front line to go missing. They're young, they're still learning. And in the case of Jesus, he just seems more fit to be a winger rather than to be a number 9. And tonight we saw that Havertz was able to play that number 9 role. And while he did do maybe a better job than what Jesus does in as far as staying forward, because Jesus tries to be more all action and running from the left to the right, and sometimes he's defending and sometimes he wants to be a midfielder and then he wants to connect the play. I think Havertz actually tried his best to remain in the front line a lot more. So there are some things that Mikel Arteta is going to have to iron out. And it's a good thing that I probably didn't shoot this immediately after the game, because, yes, I had spelt a lot of doom and gloom. And so I try to take a few more hours to collect my thoughts and to try and have a more balanced view, because, as Arsenal fans, it's been a while since we have won the Premier League title. And so whenever we tend to go through these wobbles, the fan base tends to have a lot more doom and gloom around them. But I'm going to spare some thoughts for Liverpool. I think that Liverpool are still the team to beat in the league, and their performance today was not good in the first half, but I think it was more because of what Arsenal did to them rather than what Liverpool didn't do. And also, Liverpool didn't have their full first choice. Without Salah there and without Van Dijk, there were some wobbly moments for them. But I think going forward, we are seeing a lot more of the fact that Jota is going to be very, very important to this team. And I think that he probably should warrant a start at some point, and he seems to be able to energize the team a lot when he comes on. And as far as their midfield, McAllister didn't do too bad, although in the first half I did think that Arsenal overran them a lot. And that was to be expected because Arsenal needed to respond to their last couple of fixtures. Good signs for Liverpool. I think that they're going to be able to keep on their Premier League challenge. It remains to be seen just how much they're going to miss Salah. But in this game, they didn't seem to miss him as much because they just concentrated more on trying to get over the line. I didn't necessarily get the feel as though Liverpool went there with a direct intent to win this game. I think they grew stronger as the game wore on, and that's because Arsenal also grew weaker as the game wore on. So that's all I got for right now, guys. Another disappointing loss for Arsenal, a very good result for Liverpool, and maybe mentally they now feel as though when they come to the Emirates, they might be able to pick up 3 points. They have been able to do that quite a number of times over the last few years. So the fixture in February is going to be a lot for Arsenal. They are going to have to prove and show everybody that they are the real deal if they still do believe that they can win the Premiership title. But thank you for your support, guys. I appreciate it. We have crossed 100 subscribers. More to come, more content to come. Thank you so much for keeping up with me. Thank you for your support. And as always, it's your boy Izzy. Peace.